Well, I guess it should come as a surprise to no one now that Henry Cavill has gracefully bowed out of The Witcher, gracefully replied to his removal from Superman in a mature professional way, and even been given the reins of a new Warhammer 40k TV show from Amazon. The trolls are out in an effort to discredit him and his reputation. All right, time for us to get down with the sickness. Before we do that, please subscribe to the channel. Click the like button. You guys know the drill. It really, really helps, and we're really, really starting to try to establish something here. Now, here we go. Buckle up, boys and girls. What we have here is, and I'm going to show it here in a moment, a transcript from a podcast. It was leaked out on Reddit about things that allegedly went on during Henry's time on The Witcher. And stick around to the very end of this because after that, I'm going to reveal the source, and that will explain everything. All right, so here we go, and I'm going to have to read this in its entirety because it is that awful. All right, here we go, real quick. So again, this was leaked on Reddit, apparently a transcript of a podcast. So I recently got this message, and someone was like, do you want to know what really went down? And I was like, sure. So let me just read it. It says, this is in regard to the Witcher TV show. At the beginning of the show, Henry was good to work with. That's been said many times on most of his projects. A lot of unusual demands that made people feel like he wasn't really a team player. But that's not unusual for a big star. Now, instead of me saying, quote, on all these, stick around to the end. Though in TV, truly usually doesn't happen until the second season. But in season 2 and 3, something shifted, and it became really impossible for women to work with. Okay, that's important. Always got to, go straight for the jugular. So, he would try to... but... even worse here, because the showrunner is a woman, he would try to overrule her and try to get changes made last minute across the board without her knowledge. Now, many other sources and reports have indicated that most of this, if it's true, had to do with the fact that the writer and the showrunner were disrespecting the source material. It's that simple. You had an actor who was also a fan of the source material, also a very large caliber star. So they, justifiably said, hey, you're not respecting the source material here. This isn't what I signed up for. We're trying to make a product that appeals to fans. And they're like, no, none of that. There's been other articles, other sources that have showed that the showrunners really actually went out of their way to disrespect the source material. But nonetheless, if this was true, that would probably be the clash of the desire to follow the source material. Nonetheless, it keeps going. All right. So, which, if you know anything about showrunning, is completely fucked. The showrunner has to sign off on every minuscule detail, down to the buttons on a costume. Female writers and directors were suddenly completely ignored on set, unable to do their job. Okay, now, that right there alone should be your first indication that this could be complete and utter BS. Because a movie set, a TV show set, a play, doesn't matter, is a collaborative effort that, if one does decide to go rogue, breaks down the whole thing. That is to say that if a dialogue is altered in mid-scene, the other actors are not going to be able to identify their cues. If they suddenly move or adjust and the blocking is blown, the other actors can't properly work. I mean, it's not the end-all, be-all. There's always improvisation and things of that nature. But it's a pretty regimented system, and for a very good reason, because everyone in that scene is reliant upon everyone else to follow a pre-designed way of doing things. All right? But let's keep going. Every department head was complaining. He started making comments. It wasn't a sexual thing. He wasn't grabbing anyone or being lewd, but it was disrespectful and toxic all the same. Also known as, I don't want to get sued for slander. Because if he did say it was sexual or grabbing or anything that is actually legally actionable, then we could get sued. But disrespectful and toxic, well, since that's bullshit, I can't get sued for that. But we keep going. He's deeply addicted to video games. Oh no. To the point where it was like working with any other addict. He was distracted, he was late, he was obsessive. I think obsessive is their way of saying he wanted the source material. Um, and a lot of people think that the misogyny came from Gamer World. Okay. Yeah, that old tired trope that's been disproven and discredited a gazillion times. Video game bro language is not how you talk to coworkers. I know quite a few video gamers, and I have no idea what video game bro language is. Now, don't get me wrong, they can occasionally use words that I'm not familiar with, in regards to something going on with gaming. But if that's video game bro language, I'm not exactly sure how that's not how you talk to coworkers, because coworkers could do as I do and say, what does that mean? Problem solved. All right, here we go. And it keeps going. And he wouldn't stop. Someone on the show compared it to watching Get Brainwashed by QAnon. So the bad grammar is another red flag. Could be a transcription error, so I'm not going to, like his whole personality shifted. Like maybe he was really, really upset that they were changing the source material. Like they didn't write that, I did. Eventually his disrespect escalated because your disrespect for his craft, his art, the work, the source material, fans' desires, ratings, money were also disrespected. Who knows? Anyways, he could rewrite scenes without even alerting the other actors in the scene until it was time to shoot. See my previous point? That's bullshit. It can't happen. Like, it messes up everything. Now, if you want to play this game where we go literal and we say, well, he rewrote the scenes, and then right before they were ready to shoot, he told all the actors about the new lines. Okay, I guess that's feasible. Did he also do the new blocking? Was he such a great writer that he wrote new dialogue and exposition with blocking in mind? Was he also precognitive? That is to say, if you're rewriting something, couldn't you contradict something that was going to happen, not just later on in the episode, not just later on in the season, but possible future seasons? Because you could play the game of, well, they had the script for the whole season, so he knew what was going to happen. Okay, but that, again, it all falls apart under the most minute of scrutiny. He decided he didn't want any romantic scenes at all. No kissing, no shirtless scenes, etc. This is a self-own. Whoever wrote this really wanted a shirtless scene. He wanted complete control of storylines, but really had no idea of the limitations of TV, structure, budget, etc. Because he hasn't been working in Hollywood for 22 years and never seen any of those things. He formed a weird alliance with one writer who was also a gamer. Oh no, not that. Not a gamer. Oh no. Who eventually got fired after multiple HR complaints were made. Site source, I know. I said I wouldn't do that, but that one's borderline scandalous. Slander. And after that writer left, Henry did anything he could to hold up production and cause problems. Eventually, top brass at Netflix was tired of him costing them money with delays in HR investigations. So it was the HR complaints against the gamer writer or against Cavill? Because you would think that an HR complaint against Cavill would be a little bit more of a headline. Nonetheless, and the showrunner was asked to construct a potential exit for him. Netflix reached out to him personally, and he was given one final warning, and violating that warning with an email he sent to the entire writing staff. Oh, and he violated, I guess, instead, and violating. Right after the meeting, that was it. Okay. All right, so there are two things that leap out about that. First and foremost, at the tail end of that, they really made it out like, oh, Netflix really was backed into a corner. They had no choice. They had to let Henry go. And honestly, we'll never know the truth. That was behind the closed doors. But I can't really honestly believe, that is really what happened. From the standpoint of, it's pretty easy for, the people holding the purse strings, people control the money, to come down if they really wanted to and say, hey, Cavill, let's talk. What's your gripe? Let's work something out because we got a cash cow going on here. All right. Second, and what I alluded to at the beginning of the video, is the whole thing is utter bullshit, not based on necessarily on my opinion, but on the source material. So I went and tried to find the source material on this and found it. So this was leaked from a podcast of this DEUXMOI people, right? Deux I guess we'll call them that. And so I was like, all right, let's try to find out what we can about the old Deux here. And so found their podcast, found their Instagram, found their website, and this is what it says at the bottom of their website. Dwexmall.world publishes rumors and conjecture, not facts. Oh, there you go. That's it. Confirmation. Everything is utter and complete bullshit, but it goes on. In addition to information reported directly from sources, certain characters, situations, and events portrayed on this website are either products of the author's imagination or conjecture. Information on this website may contain inaccuracies. The proprietor of this website does not make any warranty as to the reliability, validity, or correctness of the content of the site's content or of the information sent directly from sources, also known as please don't sue, please don't sue, please don't sue. Materials published on this site sent directly from other sources are not the responsibility of Dwexmall.world. Please don't sue us. Please don't sue us. So there you have it, folks. The source material admitting it is nothing but lies, conjecture, and has absolutely no value, worth, merit at all. You will probably see other videos covering this. You might see news articles. You might see Twitters, Instagrams. It doesn't matter. It's all done for the exact same reason. They want to get clicks. They want to get notoriety. Gosh forbid, they want to get viral. It's a really sad world that we live in when a company can effectively slander someone the caliber of Henry Cavill without actually legally slandering them for no other reason to get notoriety to their brand, to their content. And ultimately, it always fails. That's what I really can't figure out. Like, suddenly, if people are going and checking out this podcast and checking out this website and this company, they're doing so, as a slight curiosity for this one specific topic. It's not going to endear them to now, oh, this is great. I can't wait to see whatever else what they're doing and buy their product, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't translate. It doesn't work like that. And this must be a new company because new companies are generally the only people who engage in this shitty tactic. Nonetheless, this is my opinion. What is yours? Please let me know in the comment section below.